By the way, thank you for coming all the way to West Bengal for doing this today.
Oh man, the flight was it was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm sorry we had to fly you in on a Cessna.
Yeah.
We.
This is the kind of high-profile flights I take.
Yeah.
My commercial.
Yeah. We tried to get you the SpiceJet Boeing 747, but
you know me.
Yeah, I knew. And I felt like, Abhish's size and Cessna.
It matches.
Yeah, it's not like with you, it's like some people who are short, they have this whole big dick complex.
Yeah.
But you have big dick energy.
Yeah, I've got just the energy.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. It's the energy. You're right about the energy.
Hey guys, welcome to Akash and Friends. We are clearly in conversation with Abhish Mathew. If you did not recognize this from his voice on the podcast or his face on the screen, now you do.
That's the complimenting sentence, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like so the last time I met you was before you went to Canada, and
Yes. We guys were shooting for. Oh no! We met after. No, you met Lloyd after that.
I've been meeting Lloyd regularly after
Yeah.
that. Lloyd and I have hit it off.
You guys are like,
yeah, I love him. Of all the things you have introduced me to, Lloyd is the best so far.
yeah. Of all the things I have been introduced to, Lloyd has been the best.
Okay, thanks,
Here's to Lloyd. He's dying of hiccups right now. The fuck? Yeah, we were shooting. We were shooting for Journey of a Joke. And
which at that point the plan was to release it in December.
Yeah, completely changed. You know what happened? So I shot with you, then I shot with Sumit Anand, and we were gonna shoot more, but I had to go to Canada, and I was just like, I need a break because what happens is that you plan, and very seldomly so example for someone like me, if I've got 10-step plan, I need the one to get done before the two needs to happen.
Right.
But technically, you could juggle them around and it'll still work. But because I was so like, it needs to be according to the way I want it, everyone used to get stressed. So then I said, you know what, cancel all plans. So like even when Lloyd is like, no, we decided to release. I said, no, we will release. I don't want it.
And then I love the fact that we have that right. You know what I mean? You can always kuch nahi to be the artist and say, nahi karna.
Yes.
Like this.
Oh, that Lloyd has been so annoyed with me this entire Canada trip. He's like, Abhish, this was supposed to go today. I'm like, I don't want to. He's like, I'll upload it. I'm like, I don't want to do it. So that's when we met last, and now that's been postponed for the end of the year.
How was end of the year?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. It seems like it because in my yearly calendar, Journey of a Joke right now is lined up for November.
Oh my God.
I was supposed to do Jan.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do Jan. But now I'm going by gut feeling.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Evolution, right?
Yeah.
When I read it, first Journey of a Joke, I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was the camera was only on the comedian.
Yeah.
And I would just talk and I had the mic. It was very intimately low production.
Yeah.
Loved the way it was done. For me. Season 2 was at Cuckoo, we made a black box and we had a light and everything was slightly better up market value and like it looked great.
Yeah.
But somewhere I felt disconnected and I felt like I am now also a part of the show. Then I was just like, it's two people talking.
Right.
But Journey of a Joke was meant to be only the comedian talking. I don't need to be there. Anyone can host it. Like, you shouldn't see me there. That's what season 1 was.
Right.
Mostly the camera's on them. Every now and then 1 or 2 shots will be there. But season 2 was just like, we both are talking. It became me also, ego kicked in.
But I would disagree. I think doing Son of a Bitch with you, Journey of a Joke with you, was like a eye-opener of sorts. That's kind of what led to this podcast. Because when, just talking to you around it, I would say not even the podcast itself. But just the experience of working with you, meeting you, we did the pre-interview, we met, then again we met because I forgot shit. I always forget shit at places, so I forgot something, I went to your house. But that was such a, like it was a kick in the ass. It was like, to karna. Like that's the overwhelming feeling. But coming back to your point, I think with Journey of a Joke, it's not an ego thing. You're asking the very pertinent questions.
Yeah.
I think when two comics are talking, they are bound to Shopify it. Like it becomes so alien to the core listener.
Yeah.
कि मैं tag ये वो बात कर रहा है, but you're the one who's actually bringing it back down. So I think that's very few people can actually execute that.
Oh, thank you, man. I like it, but like I know that when we shot ours also, I overspoke than compared to how I used to for Journey of a Joke. Right? And this one, Journey of a Joke is, I've got these questions. You tell me your journey. I don't need to tell you my journey. Even though that's what it became, and it could be good. It could be good because I might have perspective. And
I'm really looking forward to that episode coming out because I learned so much about, because I think that's what matters, no? The journey of a...
Put it up, no? Because, I don't know, my crisis in my head was like, journey of a joke, because you are the person who put up a viral video. It should be your journey. Why am I putting my opinions? But,
Yeah.
you know what, let me just, again, I'm doing the same thing which I told you not to do, so I'm going to tell myself, तो डालना, तो डालेगा, अभी क्या चल रहा है, अभी चल रहा है ना, अभी चल रहा है. Please insert whatever date it is. जाओ मेरे चैनल में देख, कुछ ना कुछ होगा, तू स्केचेस है, जोड़ी पे जोक, सन ऑफ अ बीच, कुछ ना कुछ डालते रहूंगा. Please go check it out.
How was Canada?
Canada was a much deserved break. It is
You were in Vancouver only?
just Vancouver within
Great
4
weather.
houses.
Great weather.
Insane weather.
Minus
And
4 degrees.
It went to minus 13 the night I was leaving, and I saw what like the beginning stages of a snowstorm feels like.
I remember that now. That was like 2-3 days ago. Yeah, abhi only.
Right.
My brother was sending me photos.
Images as well.
Yeah.
The thing is that I've realized something so inherent Indian thing about me is, as Indians, wherever we've seen snow is like Mussoorie or
Yeah,
Shimla,
yeah.
right? They're towns. Wherever we've seen city snow, New York, movies,
Yeah.
like these are the places we've seen only in Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
So when I saw snowfall in Burnaby or in Vancouver for the first time with big tall buildings next to me, I was reminded of Home Alone, reminded of Max Payne, of Die Hard.
Max Payne, man.
Exactly. So I was just like, oh my god, this is great, because everybody else is so frazzled, but I was excited like a kid, and I felt it. I felt like I know why. That's why I keep telling people I've seen snow, but city snow I'm seeing for the first time.
Yeah.
And that got me excited. Every day I used to just wear my boots and I'll just go out for a walk.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're crazy. I'm like, I won't get this. I'm leaving
Yeah,
in 4 days.
yeah. So not the parents part, just mainly the snow part.
Yeah. Parents, if you're watching this, you know I love snow.
Were you there to help them move, or had they already moved?
They moved. It's been a year since they moved.
Oh, okay.
Now
So
I think
your
they're
parents
very
moved
settled.
around the time my brother and bhabhi moved.
Yes, we I think spoke about this
Yeah.
last time. It was like around a year, capping up around a year.
Haan,
now,
na?
yeah.
That's super
But the
dude.
good thing now is that my brother, sister-in-law, niece live in a house. Parents live in a house. Another cousin, his girlfriend and dog live in another house, which is a kilometer, which is basically 300 meters away.
Yeah.
And another cousin, husband and son
Yeah.
have moved from 500 meters away.
So it's like a...
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Within 4 houses, 30 days are gone.
Yeah,
That
but
is-
that's great. No, you have like a
amazing.
feeling of community there also. With my brother and Bhabhi, one of the things they really miss is the fact that there's no...
And I told you to put them in touch because
Yeah.
my everybody there is just bringing friends from different places.
Yeah.
But I feel like a microcosm of India is being formed. So last time when I went to Canada, I gotta tell you this. I told my parents that listen, they're going for English classes so that they can get used to the Canadian accent. I told them, I need you to, next time I come to Canada,
Yeah.
I want to be invited for dinner at a non-Indian house or invite them to our house.
Yeah.
And that happened this time. And I was so happy कि something I said as the
Yeah.
youngest kid for the first time, they took to heart and they did.
Aww.
It turns out my brother had told them, yeah, please invited them. So that's why they went and they came. This happened.
Yeah.
And for my entire trip, I thought, I did this.
Hey, but
And my
still, I mean, it
brother-
happened, no?
You know what? I would like to take credit for sometimes people doing well, okay? But it happened. Half Iranian, half French family, and the kids were so cute. And we were talking about, mom made Malayali food, Kerala food,
Yeah.
which is different from Indian food or Tamil
Of course.
food. And so they were like, how do you eat this? And it was the first time I'm trying to explain what a home food
What did
is.
she make?
So she made beef oletadu, which is beef fried.
Yeah.
I was like,
You can say it.
I can say it?
Yeah. In
Fried.
West Bengal, beef is legal.
Yeah, that's why.
That's it.
because
It's all good.
it's great here.
Yeah.
She made that. She made avial,
Yeah.
which is a dish.
This is a band, no? I've heard them.
Yeah, it's great. So we bought all 4 of them,
Yeah.
put them in a mixer grinder, and we poured it over our rice. And I was like, "Chakka-lekka." Every time you buy it, you're like, no. That's how you have the avial.
You gotta eat with a hi-hat budge. Mein just.
Rex Fusion is going into your mouth, going, Hi, Rex. So the thing is now, I had to explain this is home food which I've eaten my entire life.
Yeah.
I've never asked what this is. I've just eaten.
Yeah.
But I had to explain to people what this is. It's weird because you know what an avial is, right? An avial is a mashup of all vegetables that is usually made over the weekend of all the little bit vegetables
They are
remaining
left
through the
up.
week.
Yeah.
Now, if you explain that to people who are so obsessed with fresh food,
Yeah.
and how do you explain that in an economy like India,
Yeah.
where food is fresh when you cook it,
Yeah.
but like how do people have internationally food, right? They have steak,
Yeah.
and then they have cauliflower, and then they have pickles.
Yeah.
There are 3 different individual
They're all
identity.
components
Yes.
that are separate.
In India, we molecularly break down our cuisine.
Exactly.
Like a dal is no more a dal when you put a makhani inside it and like ginger and garlic
Yeah.
and you know what, Tabasco. I don't know if you do it, but I don't cook. And that tastes amazing, but it doesn't taste like dal. It's
Yeah.
a different thing. Because lentil soup and dal are 2 different
Very
things.
different things, yeah.
That's what I was like. So I had to explain that to them, and I've never verbalized it. It felt
Yeah,
great.
I have a lot of fun explaining Gujarati food to people because then there's so much like within India also there's so much stereotype to break through with Gujarati
Yeah.
food. The whole idea of it's all sugar and that
I was trying to think, what is the stereotype?
yeah, it's all meetha apparently, which is like I have tears burnt into my inner eyelids that say otherwise. Yeah, like,
But I think Gujarati food isn't sweet as much as they put a lot of sleeping powder in it, no? Because every time I've had that motherfucking thali, and every
thali
time
I
that
would-
is show in
what
Gujarat, I can't- whatever, you go to a place,
Manan will
it's like a copper thali with like small units and whatever ghee and
Yeah.
just eat it, and then you have a show at 7 p.m. You have to make sure you have to eat by 12 because you have to sleep till 4
for 3 hours.
p.m.
Yeah. But इसमें कैसा है? The thing is, what happens in a restaurant is with any restaurant, right? If you go to a Kerala restaurant, you're not necessarily going to get Kerala home food. You're going to get the celebratory dishes that you would eat in Kerala.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
So all the gujju sabjis that you're getting in that, maybe 2 of them are what you would eat at home every day. Everything else is wedding cuisine,
Celebratory.
party cuisine, festival cuisine.
Never thought of it. Shit.
Right? Like it's not like you eat, I don't know how to, what to,
Like beef olete, beef fry we don't eat every day.
yeah,
right?
you would
It's
never
a-
eat beef
it's a
every
celebratory
day.
thing,
Yeah. You would eat it once in a while, but now since things are better, supply chain, you can afford it, so you can go to a restaurant and eat it at any given point of time. But that's what happens with all cuisines. So what we get is a very myopic vision of what any cuisine really is.
That's true.
Like when you hear of Japanese food, you think noodle sushi, right? But there's so much more going on in Japanese food, I'm sure, which we don't know
Which
about.
even we don't know about.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's true. Same perspective, because my mom, the way she makes her chicken stew, it's very specific to her.
Yeah.
And that is a lost art form because she hasn't passed that skill to my brother or me. Because both of us have I mean, we haven't ventured into the kitchen. The only thing I know how to make is hot water.
Okay.
Because of kettle.
Oh.
So that's where my culinary ends.
But
And I
that's a
feel
lot
so-
of skill. Taking hydrogen and oxygen and then bringing it together. You are a...
I mean, usually I source the hydrogen and oxygen infused together as water.
Oh, okay,
molecularly.
that's okay.
It's me
Chess,
taking
sell
that-
out.
I mean, it's packaged well nowadays. It's easily catalyst combined. It's not my fault. Try to break this. Come on. Come on. Hydrogen not. Can't do it. Not coming out. So, yeah, so I feel like I want to learn my mom's cuisine because I'm like, hey, man, maybe...
It won't last after this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the last generation.
Yeah.
We as a generation don't know how to cook. We know how to cook people's cuisine. Like YouTube mein, I'll watch a video, you know this ke kitchen ka khana, you know, but you don't know your own mom's
Yeah.
food. I'm telling you, it's a dying cuisine. It's like an art form that was passed on for generations till now.
Yeah.
And this generation said, screw it.
Yeah. It's all the time. And you know, so many of these things that we carry around, like the oiliness in Gujarati food, right? So everybody knows undhiyu. Everybody's like, oh, undhiyu is the oiliest shit in the world. It's not cooked in oil. The oil is added later.
Okay, I didn't know that, huh?
So in the sense that it's not fried in oil.
Huh.
It's the oil is hot and the vegetables cook in their own steam in the oil. They're not necessarily absorbing
Understood,
the oil.
Understood, yeah. You're not deep frying it.
Yeah, it's not fried on any level. It's just cooked in the oil so that the flavor stays in properly. So there's another type of food called umbadiyu, which I keep praising everywhere. And nobody knows about, even Gujaratis don't know about umbadiyu.
What is?
It's
How do you spell it?
UMBADYU, umbadiyu. If you're driving on the highway,
If you have a Google Pixel, then swipe up, go on to your next tab and write down what umbadiyu is. And if you don't have a Google Pixel, I don't know, just stop the video.
then
and
this
go
plugged in does not
Didn't
work.
Not that I have a Google Pixel.
Yeah. But it's like...
They didn't give it to me for free this time. I guess I'm no more an influencer.
Hey, you influenced me to start this podcast. So clearly...
That's what I mean. That's right. So if you're listening to this, Apple, I am accepting all AirPods, which you've given to my friends, but deny me the joy of free Apple products?
Damn right.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So you go on the highway in winter in Gujarat, you'll see umbadiyu right on the side of the road. Exact same ingredients, almost the same spices, just different cooking method. and my aunt happens to be a vegan, first generation adopter vegan. She's one of the big vegans in India. She wrote the book on vegan cooking in India.
Also,
So the entire conversation was just like, dude, if you just go through the traditional food of every place in India, people have been kind of vegan
yeah.
always.
Yeah. Kerala food, that's why Kerala we don't use milk, we use coconut milk from the very beginning.
Yeah. With Gujarat also, most of the food just doesn't have, like the idea of adding ghee was post 80s, 90s it came into Gujarati culture.
Yeah, dude, because ghee is not part of South Indian, I'm like Kerala cuisine, where I come from at all. Like even our fish and all of that, there's never been ghee in it.
Yeah.
Ghee is all because I was born and raised in Delhi, easily attainable, tastes good, you'll put it in.
Exactly. And with Gujaratis, it just became like an obsessive thing. But if you look at traditional Gujarati cuisine, it's nothing like what it was in the last 40 years.
Man, that gives so much insight. We are, if you look at our cuisine in general, we are very vegan. We are extremely if you go back to the OG and
if you go back to caveman days, we were actually pretty veg. How often would you kill a wildebeest? It was way easier to forage.
Actually, I mean, I'm not going to agree or disagree because my knowledge on that is zero.
I also recently have been reading up a lot on it, and I don't know if the information I'm getting is biased or not. But it seems to indicate.
I have a theory. Because again, even in Sapiens, they mentioned the same thing. There was hunter-gatherers, but they also, I mean, there's also that entire bit of how much are you hunting. But also what we don't realize is hunting takes
forever. Actually, if you look at the entire evolution of the human species, there's a really nice Radiolab episode on this about how we're made for long distance running.
Yes, we can tire every animal out there because we have porous glands, right? So
they
we
overheat.
They overeat and they have to stop, and the only place they can get the heat out is through their snot and mouth. And that's when you outrun a deer. And when they're done, that's when you go kill it.
And you outrun it over, like a wildebeest, you outrun over a week. So,
exactly.
So that can't be your only source of food.
I mean, if you think about it, obviously there was no refrigeration back then, but you couldn't, but then I guess you'll get that wildebeest, you will bring that wildebeest back, and then you cook and you eat it.
That's the feast for the...
Yeah, maybe it's a feast
the festival
versus...
food, na?
Oh my God. And that brings us to the end of our culinary episode with a full callback to what we had started with. Thank you. But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Celebratory food, meat.
Yeah.
Everyday food, not vegetarian.
And now that we have better means, we try to make the celebratory food.
Every food, everything should not be celebratory.
Yeah.
It's not good. Be uncomfortable. You'll be great. Just be uncomfortable. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
sorry. I'm paraphrasing whatever is in my head right now.
Is that how you feel right now these days?
No.
Are you in a discomfort that you're trying to justify to yourself?
No. I am trying to be uncomfortable. Every time I'm uncomfortable, I am way better. For example, I'm 32. I've always showered in hot water. Always.
Right.
Always. Today after basketball, my geyser is not working. And I had to step out because I had to go for lunch with a friend of mine. And I'm like, dude, I need to do it. I put the cold shower on and I just like, fucking let's do it. And I went in and I showered. I switched it off, lathered myself, and I spent such little time. That means I saved so much water because I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Every shower I've done, even if it's bucket bath, it still be an entire bucket. But if it's cold, my body doesn't want to take it. So I want to get rid of it. Similarly, I carry headphones. I think we discussed about it last time. I carry headphones two kinds. One is wired, one is Bluetooth. Because and it's a habit because you never know when that anxious pang comes in, right? So I have a playlist so I can just fuse my brain off because you never know when something happens.
Absolutely.
But then it became such a crutch that even when I was feeling better, I was listening to the same songs. Then it lost that sheen of that song. So next time when you get that anxious pang, when you listen to it, it means nothing.
Yeah.
And my brain stopped creating. So now what I've started doing is I have not been using headphones.
Okay.
I will intentionally get bored. Because when you're bored, you become extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And your brain is so bored that your brain has to entertain itself. That's when your brain creatively is working. And that's when you start thinking of ideas because your brain has to do something.
Yeah.
It can't mute itself. And that's when I'm thinking, oh, this would be a good idea, that'd be good. Then I write it down, whatever's coming to my head. And then eventually another meeting happens and I go. But then 2 days later, when I look back through my notes, I'm like, oh man, out of these 5 ideas, 3 of them are shit, 2 of them are not bad.
Yeah.
That means it stood the test of time also because I was uncomfortable. So now what I do, and this is what I keep fighting with Lloyd with, because Lloyd wants me to come to office every day.
Yeah.
decorum wise, have a steady thing. You need to come. You need to do this.
Yeah.
For me, it's like no. I need 2 hours every day to do. I have to get bored.
Yeah.
If I do not get bored, I'm not creating.
Yeah, I can
That's
relate.
the discomfort thing.
I feel like for me it's like because of the depression, I think it's like in an extreme sense, but the same thing in a sense that I'm constantly fighting boredom. Boredom is the big fear.
Yeah.
And the way, because for me the boredom is when the depression kicks in.
Yeah.
So for me it's like, how do you combat boredom? You create, like you constantly create, and it's not born out of the boredom, but it's done to avoid the boredom.
The boredom. But I think we both are, if this is the point, I think we both are around the same place.
Yeah.
You figured your piece with yours, I figured mine. So I'm not going to tell you, no, you're doing it wrong. It's perfect
course.
for you, it's working for you.
Yeah.
For me, it's perfect because it's working for me this way.
Yeah.
Because and now I'm accountable to people. So I'm just like, hey, this is an idea. What do you think? Then you come back and say, this is too expensive. Then I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. Then I have to work on something else and bring it. So for me, getting bored is the best thing that I can do.
Yeah.
For example, even if I feel like boredom is a great place. I mean, boredom is such a word has so much connotation to it, right? It's a negative connotation.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the most positive connotation of boredom. Like, even if I can sit every day, meditate is also technically, everyone's afraid of taking the first step towards meditation because you know the process is boring for you from the outside.
Right.
But when you actually start meditating, you're kind of focusing on each breath, right? And then each breath coming out. And then after some time, you will think it'll become mundane. But you don't realize that each breath is so unique that it is not boring at all. There are times when I'm meditating and I'm like, I don't wear my watch or keep my phone when I'm meditating.
Yeah.
So I don't see when I start meditating.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm done, it could be 10 hours or 10 minutes. I don't need to know. I just need to know if I'm meeting at 11, I have to meditate at like at least around 9 so that I get an hour of travel time.
Yeah.
That is for me getting bored. And once I make peace with that, I'm just like, when I came here, I was just getting bored. I wasn't
enjoying the lull of.
It's amazing.
Yeah, mundanity can really help.
Yeah, I figured out what it stands for. That's
Of West Bengal.
of West Bengal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's because I was bored. Clearly not attentive. Of West Bengal, yeah.
There's we were just discussing this on Tejas' episode, which will either come before or after this episode. Don't hold me accountable.
It's been shot on the same day.
Yeah. But that was in Colaba.
He flew down, teleported.
Yeah, and second half was in Dubai.
Yeah.
That's how we are globetrotters, bro.
I love how you travel with
A room, the entire physical concrete room.
It's insane.
It's a helicopter.
For the people who don't know, this is actually what is that, container ship? A Maersk
pretty much.
container, yeah.
Pretty
so we are right now in Calcutta. Then you're gonna board it, put it on a ship, and then
This
take it.
now we have to helicopter because after this is Adar.
Other? Oh yeah, you have to take it back.
Yeah, we
You're
are
in
going to
Dubai,
Prayagraj.
Huh?
Prayagraj? Isn't that what it's called? Yeah, that's what it's called. It was written on the itinerary.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prayagraj. Formerly known as Allahabad.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
once upon a time.
Yeah.
And then things happened to it.
I was just like, have I? Why does it sound familiar?
But we were talking on the Tejas episode ki there's a hard upper limit to how much you can do in terms of creative vision on your own. You know, and so then I think what really came out of that episode is like, you know, Tejas is one of those guys who's building like this village around him of people who are committed to the same cause, and I see you doing that in a very similar fashion. But in a how should I put it? You made a science out of it. Like you're like me in that, like that's why I feel very relatable with you, because how I look at joke writing, you look at all the things. You know, you have that ability to just fucking look analytically, understand something and understand the hows and the whys and the what's the technology and the what's the consumer behavior. And I've never been able to do that beyond a joke. And that's what I want to discuss with you in the second half of this episode.
Which starts together
now. So, welcome back to the second half of Akash and Friends. I am the friend and this is Akash.
Hi, my name is Akash. Nice to meet you. Am I doing it right? Is it accurate? Yeah, I'm an Akash now, I guess. I got the Akash.
You got to do the hunch. That's the only thing missing. Yeah. And the incredibly feminine leg cross.
Oh, good question. Even though we're talking about something else, just to ask, I have been concerned about this.
Why?
Because I sit like this.
Yeah.
And it's very inappropriate, right?
Yeah.
It's a very... So my personality is whatever you're doing right now. But my physical structure, including my thighs and, cojones...
Yeah. They get into the way.
Now I want to ask, okay?
Where are my balls right now? Is that the question? Yes, I know.
Wait, is it? Okay, now. Okay, hold on. This is a genuine question. All right, cut close, okay? Cut close. And you just see this, okay? His legs right now are like this.
Yeah, they're like this,
right? Completely, like comfortably, like comfortable. You can stretch it if you want to.
Yeah, I can go.
So now, the only two possibilities are either his balls are here with his pee or they're here with his pee. How?
They're not there. They can't be
Where are
there.
they? Are you squishing them?
No, they're above.
So they're there and not there.
So see, there is thighs, and then there is the pelvis is here.
Okay.
There is a so see. Okay, now currently it is in neutral state. Okay.
Which is neutral? I want to know what neutral state.
Neutral state is between the legs, no? Where they
like in the sense it's never like.
It's right here, right?
For example.
So I'll tell you the thing.
It's here right now. It's slightly
it's a posture thing. It's a posture thing because you sit straight. I have really bad posture. So what I do, I don't sit on my ass. I tend to sit on my slightly as a lean forward, lean back. So what that does is creates like this space. Okay. Now I'm not sitting on my ass as such. I'm sitting on the hip and the lower back, right? And I have longer legs. Your legs aren't as long. So I think that is also...
And I've got, my thighs are really big.
Yeah. So what happens now when I do this is the balls are now between here, right? They're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Now as this closes, based on how the boxers are, the balls can either easily just come up or just stay there. The peen tends to sometimes get uncomfortable. But that's why I wear boxers and not... what are they called?
Trunks or wheels.
Trunks, yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Slightly, I get it. Right now it's like...
But this is not possible in a non-air-conditioned environment.
Yeah, okay, good, perfect.
Yeah. You can't... then you're aiming for too much. But little bit yoga you can
and
really
this was
convert.
a small Akash Mehta podcast aside.
Yeah.
Which will be now available on YouTube and other platforms that we're not supposed to mention.
Local pan wala.
Awesome, yeah. So we were discussing...
Yeah, we were discussing how you are... Because this is what we were talking about before Son of a Beach. So I keep saying Son of a Beach. I think it's a aspirational thing.
Oh, wow, I'll take it as a compliment. Someone, by the way, stole your camera, just letting you know while
you know, it's... since it happened with the tongue of slip, but Son of a Beach, I think we were discussing before this also. Son of a Beach, I think is the... single, because we were doing the Balraj episode, and Balraj was talking about how season 3 se 6 I think happened at Habitat.
About the Habitat, yeah.
And he just mentioned randomly, 3, 4, 5, 6 happened at Habitat. I was like, oh yeah, dude, this is 6 seasons in, dude. Yeah. Like this has been fucking around, and like we were discussing, it's not just a show, it's part of mythos, like it's part of pop culture in some regard. There's a community around it, there's a bunch of people who follow it. Comics generally are very skittish about putting their own skin in the game and making stuff. I don't think you've ever made money on this.
No. Son of a Beach has lost making.
Right? And it's but then I look back and I'm like, yeah, the signs of this were always there, right? Because you were the guy who fucking put the money together and went to Second City. You went to Second City, no?
No, I went to UCB.
UCB. You went to UCB, you got trained yourself. You went to New York and you fucking spent the time to get better yourself, and then you came back and then you applied what you learned into this. It's such a... What is the motivation?
To be honest, right, it's not... I mean, thank you, by the way, for what you said. It's... What people don't realize is that with Son of a Beach, it's not... I don't know what Son of a Beach is. Like what you said, it's a part
India's
of my,
only real late night talk show.
My point is, when you say that, I feel great. I feel like, oh shit, that's awesome. But as a personality, I'm not that. As a personality, I'm more on the lines of, okay, that's done. What are we doing now? What are we gonna do next? I'm looking at how to make it better. Because if you look at it right now, You're right. It is India's. It's India. I'm not. I'm not gonna say India's only because Shekhar Suman show existed.
No,
There's Kapil Sharma's show. There is,
I wouldn't
Karan
really
Johar.
say. No, I mean, I think between you and Shekhar Suman, I think that's the only real. Because my mom was on Shekhar Suman's show.
What?
Yeah. So.
Man, you mean that badass woman with sneakers under that amazing sari? I knew it.
She was on that show. So I remember for me it's like it's a part of my life incredibly. Like late night TV has always, my dad used to watch Jay Leno. So it's like you're constantly, and the disappointment with late night television in America right now is that it's become so banal and they've kind of started it's become like Kapil.
Yeah, correct. It's become their own microcosm that they are own going to be on.
And with that, with Trump being around for the last 6, फिर तो भाई साहब अभी वही हो गया
It's
पूरा.
only about Trump. Then.
And now when you come in with this, yours is an iteration and an improvement not just on what's happening here, but what's happening there as well. Right? So I think that way it's a huge leap.
Yeah.
You're not just doing the late night format, you're improving the late night format.
I am the reason when you get surprised saying that it's been 6 seasons, I am not looking at it's been 6 seasons. I'm like, okay, next season, what are we doing different? Because I want it to be unique. I want it to be a global show. I want it to be something that people come and watch it and feel great about, right? I don't know what the value of it is because I'm not looking at the season we did. I'm looking at the season we're doing and how can I learn from it and make a season better. It'll be amazing to have Son of a Beach at a level where at a digital space, you have audiences from New Zealand, you have audiences from Ethiopia, you have audiences from Russia, you have audiences from China, you have your audiences in the US, UK, Canada, all of them put together still watch that show. So for me, Son of a Beach is not there. So when you say about hey, Son of a Beach is India's it's part of my thoughts, it's great. And I completely take the compliment and I feel great like the entire team has done. But in my head it's like, yeah, that's great. That's one check, but it's not what I want it to be yet.
Yeah.
So as a creator of the show, you won't be like, yeah, I think we made it, man. It'll be cool.
Yeah. But this is a dual motivation. This is not just creator motivation. See, I have creator motivation in my life as well. This is like what you say, this producer. This is producer brain. This is not creator brain.
I think we discussed this last time around also, and that's what I think we want to talk about is that the difference between the creator brain and producer brain. Every time I've gone for therapy, most of the times, this is what I explain to her, my creative side and my production side.
Yeah.
And this therapist is just understanding whatever words I'm saying. It could be anything, but I know clearly I've segmented myself as two. So when I do a lot of production work, my creative side, I feel is choked.
Right.
And then I'm trying to make jokes, go on stage, write these jokes, make a good one-liner joke.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make each joke color-coded according to how good it is. A means applause, L means laugh, M means smack, question mark means try it again, X means don't do this joke, delete it if it's a structure.
Yeah.
I told myself that I'm being creative, but I wasn't. I was being productive.
Yeah.
And I think that is different. So it's like having two different personalities. You just need to know when to put what.
Yeah.
And also it can't be a daily, you can't shift. You shift seasonally is what I made my peace with. I will change seasonally. I will change situationally. So now I'm in a position where I'm very happy just creating. And if I have an idea, I'll just write the idea down and I'll take some time and I'll write I'll take some time and I'll do this and I'll do that. Then I'll go to Lloyd. I'm like, hey, what do you think? And Lloyd be like, it's shit. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring it back. And I'm gonna write this. How is it? It's not bad. I'm like, I'll do that because I'm in my creative space right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do Son of a Beach in April again. I know I'm getting to my production side very soon. So I'm okay. Because I know when Son of a Beach kicks in, my gear changes.
Right.
So till that time, let me enjoy this time because you know what? Inspiration for me is two-pronged. One is called pressured. For example, under pressure, you have to get inspired and write something.
Yeah.
Like, 30 minutes before a comedy set, it's in a shit venue. What joke's gonna make about the venue? Boom.
Yeah.
And the other one is actual, like when you feel creatively inspired. Where like, oh wow, we just discussed this thing about basketball today. Fucking be great. Let me quickly write it down.
Yeah.
So earlier I would quickly write down one word and I used to be like, chalo, मैंने लिख दिया, मैं बाद में काम करूँगा. अब तो मैंने now I got the idea, no, now I got it.
Yeah.
When you're 10 years into this industry, 2 books full of ideas, and then 5 years later, everyone's done those ideas from your book. You're like, I could have done it earlier. Is when you start realizing that we had a fun conversation about basketball. I have to meditate over it. It means get bored.
Yeah.
Think about it and write down whatever thoughts you come. Finish the thought
Yeah.
till you get bored of writing that thought. Because you were inspired at that point in time,
Yeah.
and that's what I would say, divine inspiration, right? I mean, it's
random. It's
I'm like, it's
completely-
random,
yeah.
and suddenly when you feel that inspiration, I'm like, don't become lazy now.
Yeah.
Write, be right. And then I wrote down all these things till I got bored or till I got home. I was working. I went up and put the geyser on. It was pointless because the geyser's not working. And I still wrote down. As soon as I was done with it, I was like, and I have a group called Notes on my WhatsApp.
Yeah. This is a common practice of the creative people.
Yeah, so it's a
group
thing called
with
Notes
just
where it's only me. The first message, if you can see, I had added my mother and I removed her. I added my mother and I removed her immediately after. And that group is called Notes. I'll write down all my ideas there. But here, what I started doing now, instead of just writing one lines like I used to,
Yeah.
now I've started writing proper
Right.
notes. Like there are proper notes that I'm writing till the idea
Yeah.
is not finished. Like it's got to be fully documented.
Yeah.
Because then I use my divine inspiration to finish something.
Right.
You can start 10 scripts. You can tell people saying that, yeah, I'm working on 10 movie scripts. No one gives a shit till then you don't have a closer.
Exactly.
All of us have jokes, but we don't know how to close a set. We are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And all I'm trying to be is, till the time I don't have a good finisher for this, I'm not going to let go of it.
Right.
Objective is not to write a good idea. The objective is to write a proper idea. It'll become
flesh,
good with
yeah,
time.
yeah. Because it's not gonna be great from point zero anyway. But then,
But that's my production side helping my creative side.
but like when you're doing Son of a Beach, don't you feel like at some point you'll have to pick a side?
Yeah.
है ना? Either you're the host or you're the producer because you can't.
You are hitting the exact right chord right now because 6th season of Son of a Beach. Last season we did 1 hour episodes. Views were very bad. Hosting wise, I was okay. I don't know was I good or not because I was so obsessed with the edit. I was so obsessed with the lighting, obsessed with the background. I was too obsessed with all these things. What am I wearing? How's my hair's looking? Because that's a perception of the show. It needs to
But
look
that's
good.
how I know what I noticed with Journey of a Joke also because you were picking cut points there and then.
Yeah.
While doing the interview.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because that's me thinking from a production, hence an editor's side, not trusting an editor. That's the problem, right? Because I don't know who the editor is. I have no faith in the editor.
Yeah.
But if I know tomorrow if Kinney or Sanjeev is going to pick up the edit, I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
When I did the brand new show, which is Netflix India's talk show where they get new hosts to come with the Netflix comedians with their thing, hosting actors from there, they'd asked me to host one episode. I have nothing coming on Netflix, but they'd asked me to host one episode, and it was with Radhika. And I remember just sitting down and I completely forgot about. I completely forgot about what the conversation needs to be.
Yeah.
What the writers have done such a great job writing this thing. I didn't care about the camera. I didn't care about what I'm looking. I didn't care about anything. I was just like, at that time, I was just having a conversation.
Yeah.
After a very long time, I felt like what I felt during season 1 and season 3 was like, you're good. You're not bad.
Yeah.
And then I left. And I was like, oh my God, this episode will be bad because, I don't know who the editor is, blah, blah. Even though I know who the editor is, I know how to edit. The episode came out. I saw that episode with my family. And I have dissociation, right? Like when I see myself on screen, it's not me, it's someone else. So when I saw it, I genuinely was impressed with myself.
Yeah.
For the first time. That is 6th season of Son of a Beach. 8 episodes per season, except for 2, except where it was 10, whatever. X 55 to 60, whatever the math is. Episodes I've done a Son of a Beach. That's 8 into 6, whatever. What is 8 into 6? 40. Fuck, I said 60.
Wow.
So about 50 episodes of Son of a Beach I've done.
8 into 6 half it, man.
50 episodes of Son of a Beach. 1 episode of brand new show.
Yeah.
I like what I did there. Because I was least worried about the production because I knew the team is great. And my team is also amazing. But unfortunately, because I am still hungover I'm still hungover with all the power that I got since season 1 that I feel like I run the show.
See, that's interesting to me. Is it a power thing or is it a attachment thing?
It's an attachment thing, but that you have to realize something. Like even Buddha said this. Every time you give charity, you're doing it because you feel good.
No, that's a different.
So
yeah.
in this case, it's an attachment thing. But when the director of the show asks me, hey Abhish, what do you think about this color palette? It's on me. I shouldn't be involved with the color palette of the show because you are directing the show. And they are great at what they do. But when they ask me that, I don't know much about it, but there is a slight bit of like, oh my god, director who's so good at doing her job is asking me, I must be powerful. There is a sense of ego that comes in.
Right.
And when you do 6 seasons of the show, you get complete ego disillusion. That means you're not. Now it doesn't matter. But then that power thing still matters. So that means because everyone has to take everything approved by me, I have no one to answer to. So I'm always worried because I'm like, you asked
the buck
me last
stops
time.
at you.
Yeah, that's what. Because example, if they ask me for color palette and I say yes, what if I made a wrong decision? Fuck, it's on me. What if it looks terrible? What if it's this?
And then the take is going to start in 30 seconds. How can you?
Exactly. And I can't be on it. So now with this season, what I'm trying to do is that can you make all decisions? I can tell you, this season might look the worst, but it will be the best content that I can do as a host because I'm so detached from it. Because people are like, Son of a Beach has done 6 seasons, so the 7th's got to be better. But people don't realize that growth doesn't go like this. Growth goes like this.
Yeah.
You need to have multiple dips. On an average, it's growing.
Yeah.
But that people forget that average, and I also forgot that average. I'm like, why is it going this way? And it becomes just stale. There is no failure. And then this season 6 is when I'm like, okay, views are a little low. And I feel so good of the views being low because I know that's a sign of failure. And now everyone has to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
There is that sullen thing about, okay, the season didn't do well. You know?
Yeah.
You can go back and say, oh, like you said, it's a part of the mythos.
Yeah.
It's part of this, like that. And you can feel good about these things when you're feeling bad.
But that can't be the immediate takeaway.
That can't be the immediate
You
takeaway.
have to still fix this problem irrespective of everything else.
Now, we figured out 1 hour is too much. But we love Son of a Beach picks. Great. Then drop the monologue, do something else.
Yeah.
Don't do so many of whatever random thing. Give time to the guests. Make sure you have a fun time playing a game. And then Son of a Beach picks. 35 minutes out.
Yeah.
If you do it this way, then what if it becomes better? That means I reinvent myself.
Yeah.
So So coming back to your first question, which was asked 40 minutes ago, about Son of a Beach, is the reason I don't take credit is because I identify failure very quickly before other people do.
But I think that's also like a defense mechanism of sorts. You know, like it's better that my self-awareness protects me from your brash recognition of my mistakes.
Exactly. Like he said today during basketball, this is a gentleman who's
Sanket, the guy some of you wanted to shoot. This is the one.
The guy you wanted to shoot, Sanket. Sanket and I are playing basketball today in the morning, and suddenly everyone's talking about football, like, I'm better at football. So Sanket said, oh, I am better at football than I'm at basketball, which is not saying much. He himself took it down because as soon as he said it, he's like, okay, before someone else takes me down, let me address that it's not much.
It's a very comic thing also, we even if we bomb, we'll acknowledge the bomb before you can because that gives us power in the situation.
It's about retrieving that power. Yeah.
But for me, this whole journey of creating anything apart from live stand-up was like a exercise in trust and faith in other people. Like it was always about giving away responsibility, because for me, like, that is the scariest thing, the idea that you want me to do anything but this one thing. I don't want to do anything but this one. I can talk, I'll talk, I don't want to look at the edit, okay? I'll do the interview, I don't want to look at the edit, because for me it's like if I watch it, I will hit, तो खत्म है, वो release ही नहीं होने वाला है.
Correct,
and I am too emotionally invested with it to ever have a objective point of view. Doesn't that get into the way for you?
Yeah, that's why I don't sit on the edit.
But then you are sitting on everything else.
Everything else, that's the thing. I'm sitting on too many things before. I'm making it so watertight on edit on paper that the editor can't fuck it up, is what I'm going by. That means I'm not giving credit to the editor's experience. That what if the editor has got an idea that is way better than my idea?
Yeah.
But that is only because when you inflate any system, you remove a basic constant called empathy. When we perform as stand-up comedians at a small room, you are waiting for each laugh is important. Like the silence from the 5 people in the room who are we are still performing for them, right? It's very important. So the smaller the venue, the more intimate the show, the better memorable it is, because it's about empathy.
Yeah.
When Son of a Beach season 1, when I used to edit and Rishabh and a few other people used to help me edit, we used to sit on the edit together. It was empathy. We build a bond. Then with season 2, someone else used to edit. I still used to sit on it because force of habit. Season 3, I used to still sit on the edit because new team.
Right.
Season 4, same team, didn't sit on the edit. Season 5, same team, didn't sit on the edit. Season 6, same team, didn't sit on the edit. They got better and better, but I lost that empathy. That means I lost that empathy with the editor because I didn't see him spend the entire night and saw him struggle. I didn't catch that flaw, which I could have because of my experience. He sent me the episode and said, there's a glitch in this episode. Now they have to export, re-render, re-export everything, which is a 3-hour process, which is rented from there, which is already in a really over-budget show, which they're supposed to make it in this much money. There's so much stress because I, as the creator of the show, just said, I don't like it, change it. They're not going to come back and say these are the problems. They're like, we'll do it. But if I have the final authority, then I need to be involved from day one. Otherwise, don't be final authority.
Yeah.
If you're going to be final authority, start from day one so that you catch mistakes when it's supposed to, not when it comes to final stage.
I agree.
Which is where I am at right now.
Yeah.
Which is where I want to get back to.
Yeah.
I think I've gone too far away in this production world where I've lost empathy with creators, where I've lost empathy with my creative side as well.
Yeah.
But now I'm at a phase where I'm completely here. And I know that production side is going to come. But I'm like, can I find a middle ground? What's going to happen? We're going to fail. What's going to happen? Sponsors are going to back out. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
I can't afford About the Habitat anymore. What's going to happen? I can't afford FS7s anymore. I can't afford a computer that takes this. I can't afford a production house anymore. Akash, I have a backup for that. My backup is an SM. If I get Cuckoo Club example, or that comedy club, or Habitat for that matter.
Above नहीं तो नीचे वाले में
नीचे वाला 50 लोग मिलेंगे मेरे को, ठीक है. 4 कैमरा मिलेगा मेरे को फ्रेम पता है. 1, 2, 3 इधर ही will be a one wider frame.
Yeah.
4K I'll shoot this,
and then
regular
make it
180.
Yeah.
I am gonna just make sure it lit enough, not like millennials speak lit. I meant like lit well enough, and just have a live audience there. If I still do my monologue like I did season 1, if I still do my this thing, I know the entire cost of production per episode is going to be 70,000 maximum. Because the rent of a A7S2 is now much lesser, 7,000 plus lens kit 12K. Put 15,000.
उसमें भी जुगाड़ कर सकते हैं.
उसमें भी 15,000. That means 30, 60,000 gone on this. You get a sound equipment from a guy, usually venues provided, for 15,000 rupees.
Yeah.
You got your shoot, everything is sorted, lighting is from there. Edit I can do on my own. So at a bare basic, if I do one corporate show, I can make a few episodes of Son of a Beach.
Yeah.
So my point is that show is never going to fail because it'll always be there.
Yeah.
Because I can do a completely bare, broken down version of it.
Yeah.
Tell the audience I don't have money, and the audience will be like, yeah, fuck it, who cares?
But that's the beauty of, I feel like I'm in the same position in my comedy career where I'm like, nobody ever helped me get an audience,
Yeah.
It didn't matter. The old video also worked, the new also works. People don't seem to mind. And but I think the difference for me is whenever I attempt something of this scale, like for me, Akash and Friends, it's the scale I would never have imagined in my life. Because the fact that we're doing 52 of these as a complete shot in the dark and just seeing what conversations come out. Like the conversation with Sanket, Nishat, everybody you see in the room, was that this is as much yours as it is mine. So, like Sanket's edit calls, I trust. Like there's like what you said about being involved from day one. My thing is I'll just come in twice in the process because that's the only place where you should have me.
Yeah.
It's
but
like
you need to give that twice. Yeah.
That's it. And the rest, if there are fuck ups, then there are fuck ups. We're in this together. We fucked up. Okay, so what? There are 51 episodes left.
Yeah, correct. That's a great. That I think is the perspective that you and I share. Was like, failed. So what? I'll do another one.
Yeah.
If it fails, so I'll do another. I'm gonna live on this planet for this long, and I might be good at this. If my objective is to host a show which is of utmost quality, the only way I can become that is by hosting more and more. And by having more bad experiences, good experiences, normal experiences, I'll become a good host. But that's the host. Abhish Mathew is a stand-up comedian first. So public opinion is Abhish Mathew is a host. People don't know I'm a stand-up comedian. Which isn't a bad thing.
But I would, sorry to interrupt you, but I feel like you are wrong.
I feel you're
wrong. No, because this is a thing that I feel about a few comics in the scene, like you, I would say, Kenny, I would say, but I think it applies to you more than anyone else. Stand-up is a very limiting word for who you are as a comedian. You're fucking not a stand-up comedian. Dude, do you remember the first time I saw, how would you know? First time I saw you perform was at Blue Frog. You were doing the slow motion.
Oh yeah, cricket slow motion.
Yeah. Okay? Watching that's not a stand-up comic bit. Any comedian would have done the laziest way to get to that punchline. Okay, that's the defining feature of a stand-up comedian is the laziest way. How do I get to this?
Thought.
You won't do the laziest or the most hard way, but you will do the most engrossing way.
Yeah. Engrossing is a nice word.
Because you're not doing fucking you're making a world. I am in your world. Like when I used to produce for improvisers also, it was a world.
Yeah.
It was nothing like it wasn't like fucking 1 hour and sit and go.
Yeah.
It's like you pulled me in and then I was there and I for a fucking hour I didn't look at my phone, I didn't look at my, I didn't care.
Yeah.
Stand-up is a limiting word for that.
I actually never thought of it. It's very liberating to hear that. Stand-up is one form of comedy when I can do like one
which
form
you are
of
great
comedian.
at, but dude, you are like, oh my god, you're like, I would say like stand-up is one skill set for you. Like for somebody like me, it's identity. That's what I do first. It's what I do best. It's honestly, I don't think I can do anything else, But for you, it's like the cornerstone of where you get introduced to Abhish. How I fucking son of Abhish ke pehle bhi used to do what, pun-liners?
One-line. Oh my god, yes. Woo! One-liners, bitches. You know
Yeah.
one-liners?
OG.
What? How do you know
OG.
one-liners? Oh my god. What's
OG,
happening?
dude. So pun-liners, I remember you were, I was producing some open mic at HQs and you had done a spot. And then you asked people, this is when you had just moved from Delhi, and you had asked people, has anyone here seen me before? And there were 4 people who had seen you before. And you said, oh, did I do any jokes repeat?
Yeah.
And they were like, one joke. That sincerity is not a stand-up comic. We have to learn it.
Yeah.
So I really don't think you're a
That's good.
Yeah.
What is the name of the show?
Akash and Friends.
Why don't you call it Akash Gives You Therapy? Akash and Clients is what it should be called. Because I came in with like, yeah, I'm not doing enough in my life and like, nothing. And I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I want to flip this table. Can I please flip this table? Can you remove everything quickly? Please, quick. I want to flip this table. I feel like this is a flip table.
Do it. It's time.
I just want to see whether it'll break or not.
It won't.
Okay,
It won't
cool.
break. Yeah,
Oh,
flip
no, it might.
It won't break. We have
Okay,
flipped it.
flip table.
Flip it. Flip.
Yes! I flipped the table.
Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
Sorry, Calcutta. I apologize, but it was a very flip the table
मेट्रो
moment.
का पिलर गिर गया इतने में. Sorry कोलकाता.
मेट्रो का पिलर गिर गया.
ये मेरा शो कैंसिल हो गया, मैंने कहा टेंशन नहीं मेरे को.
Calcutta का Tonight Show.
No, the one I had another show.
Oh, अच्छा, in Calcutta.
Yeah. I had a show in Calcutta this month that got cancelled. Why did it get cancelled? My manager is in the room for podcast today, which is a rarity. I don't get to see him only.
Oh, hi.
He's a great manager.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know how he does it.
Your ID number is 1055. ID number 1055. क्या किया? 2 gig किया. उसका 15%, 15% दे मेरे को. इधर मेरा.
इतना सीन नहीं हमारा. Because there are how many do we have about 8-9 artists under Lasun and they're all small. So there's not much work like in that regard. Like there's work for Utkarsh, but
Yeah, that's what you can't say.
Yeah.
He is the one who's like
There's work
sending
for
emails.
Utkarsh is what I'm saying.
He's like,
There's
how do
not-
I make these guys from... nobody gets to like, they get enough work.
like, one thing when it comes to team building that you're doing very differently, I feel, is that this is what Lloyd kind of brought up to my attention more than anything else. Is that we both have a similar philosophy there also, where if you hire somebody, the logic is always, I'm hiring you, but you better not stop doing your shit.
Yeah.
I don't want people whose ambition is to stay with me for the rest of their lives.
100%.
That's constant motivation for me also.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm coming from a different perspective. I'm not coming from a perspective, it's more specific why. I am just treating anyone who works with me the way I would like to be treated. Like I know I'm a good musician, right? I'm a good singer. But what if I'm not a great singer and I'm a good bass player? And I start doing bass. I know the band would be called XYZ and band. But I'm like, I want to be XYZ. Why am I not getting a name? Why I tried with different bands together, never felt it because I'm always trying to bring people in the forefront and they're like, nah, don't give me. Because I am mostly somebody who likes the limelight. So when I think as comedians, we got popular way too fast because of the YouTube boom.
Speak for yourself.
I think I became popular way too fast. Okay, sorry. I don't want to break whatever you have to let the dams of tears flow down. So you speak for yourself. I have struggled. This is nothing to do it. But I think that I became popular way too fast because of association, collaboration, and all of that. And I receive it, and then I work towards it as well. Is that if I have this, won't it be amazing if there's a Lloyd, if there's a Kini, if there's a Sanjeev who work with me and not under me?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, salary has a power dynamic. I will not deny it because I've been trying to deny it, and that's bad leadership. But the point is that, dude, wouldn't it be amazing if we work together, all of us? If you see on Son of a Beach also, writers are all sketches.
Yeah.
Writers come on the games.
Yeah.
Writers get credits. I give shout outs. They're getting a salary, what they ask
Yeah.
for, but it's not something I'm giving out of my heart. But I'm like, I would want to be treated that way. I wouldn't want to be like, तुम मुझे jokes तो मैं आराम से करके आऊँगा. I would hate doing that. That's why even with Absurdist, with like Lloyd, Kini, Sanjeev, we're all going on the lines of, we're gonna work for like a year, 2
Yeah.
years. Can we get verified? Can you get 10,000 more followers?
Yeah.
And then you have your own career.
Yeah.
I will still continue what I'm doing
Yeah.
till I die.
Yeah.
And then every time we meet and collaborate again, then it will be like Abish and this person collaborating. Then you're no more shadow.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, like you had mentioned, it's the same thing. It's just my philosophy is I can see myself in the other person and I'm like, I couldn't. I can't. When we play basketball, I talk a lot. I always keep cracking jokes. It's early in the morning. Nobody is doing it. I have that energy because
Yeah.
I'm on the lines of I want you to have a great
This is
time.
the one you all
because-
do with Chinmay and all, no? Oh, this is
Yeah.
the one I promised to come for every week and then don't wake
Never
up
do.
for.
Don't worry. Tomorrow I have bullied these guys into playing 5 of this. So
Evening or what?
morning.
This is the problem.
Morning is the
Your
problem.
fucking producer brain is coming in.
Yeah.
If you use your comedian brain, no, तो 11 बजे आराम से खेलते थे basketball.
Dude, that's what I did because I told them that 5 of us have agreed. Please identify yourself. And now they're like, fuck it. I guess we're playing now. I bullied you to it. This production brain. But yeah, I even when I'm playing basketball, I'm being very fun because I genuinely enjoy being around people because I'm like, I would want to have a great time. And how can I have a great time when other people are not having a great time? So I'm just trying to create that. Again, I'm not saying I know how it's done. We've started a company. We don't know what it's going to do. People usually start companies knowing where it's going to go. The only thing I've told Lloyd from my side and with Kini is that let's start it. This will fail. We will learn and we'll make something else out of it.
Yeah.
We might become app developers. We'll fail that also. Then we might become carpenters. But we will work together on something with all our learnings coming in.
Yeah.
So when you get employed, you feel responsible that the company needs to make money.
Yeah.
But as somebody who runs a company, I'm like, this might fade out in a year or two, but together whatever we do next will be great.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only thing. It's just
But
treat
then
them like how
the
you
company
would like
currently, do you have a website?
no, we don't have a website.
Same with Khamba also. यार तुम लोग कंपनी खोल देता है वेबसाइट
New
नहीं
website
बनाता है.
खरीद लिया हमने.
वो तुम but
Design हो रहा है ना.
बनाओ ना अच्छे से.
So, sorry, why am I whispering? Right now we have a designer who's working on our logo. So once that comes in, we have that full plateau and everything. Like I have a to-do. Okay, now I'll show you the producer brain issue. This is a folder called The Absurdist.
Okay.
This is common task with Lloyd that I share. But
Okay.
we also have Asana, which is a software that
I know
use.
Asana,
Yeah.
yeah.
So on Asana, I have my list calendars, but I also have Absurdist as a
As a
Absurdist
separate
payment,
calendar?
Absurdist company, brand work, and all of that. We have all of
Oh,
this
wow.
as mentioned for
Okay.
Journey of a Joke. So when
Yeah.
Journey of a Joke is done, then I will just archive it. And continue
Yeah.
on. So in this case, if you look, I have tasks.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Absurdist is formed, which is if this thing is formed, the signing is done. When the website needs to be done, create company card for payments.
Yeah.
Create a travel desk because a lot of booking will happen from our end.
Yeah.
Make employee contracts, which is some new thing that I need to add because these are things we've written down. Make Absurdist logo animation,
Yeah.
which comes in the beginning and the end. Subtitle palette, color palette, lower third palette, roll in, roll out animation. Once you standardize this, then I am ready to go public. But
Right.
till that's not done, I don't want my first entry to be so unprepared.
That's true.
I don't want every video to be viral. I just want it to be having like, it's pleasant. to
basic
watch.
hygiene.
A basic hygiene.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on. So when the website got bought, and I don't know when it comes out. I mean, I don't know when this comes out. I mean, it comes out now. When it comes out. The website is live now. You can check it out. So we bought it. We got the Instagram handle. We've got the Instagram handle. We got the website.
Okay.
First thing we did before locking the company
Absolutely.
is buy that and keep it. We have it right now. It's routed to abhishmatthew.com.
Right.
But once the design palette comes through, then we have a standard opening page, which will be there.
And I really like this because I feel like You're not gonna. I don't know how you'll take this compliment, but it's genuinely a compliment. I feel like if India could have a Kevin Hart, you're the ideal candidate. Somebody who has the perfect balance of an entrepreneur and a creative edge. You know what I mean? How he has the laugh out loud network. I don't know if you saw the documentary on Netflix.
I don't know the Kevin Hart reference though. I know the comedian, but I don't know what
Kevin
else.
Hart owns an empire.
Okay.
He has his own comedy network which has some 160 million plus views every month and shit. He has हाँ तो उसका company content produce करता है, radio produce करता है. They have their own podcast, own radio show, on YouTube show, on app on which they air their own content. He's producing movies, he's acting in movies. He has his entire crew. It's called Straight from the Heart Productions, I think. So they are writing, and you know, it's like a.
It's like a proper empire.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this. So when you said that, I was like, I don't like his new special. What do you mean?
But special, matlab, I mean, I think what.
He's the example, like what you mentioned. He's stand-up comedian is a limiting term for him.
Yeah, he's a you know. So I feel like if there's anybody in this scene who has that capacity, it's you and Kenny, honestly, because. Kenny planner बेच रहा है यार. Like you know when like I remember this was a legitimate. My brother came to me and he's like, can you अभी planner भी बेचा? तो obviously बेचेगा. तू बेचा है कभी planner?
Design and बेचा.
Yeah. Have
That's
you?
the thing.
Are you kidding me? You think I wouldn't want to be able to do that if I could do that, dude?
You know how cool it feels.
Somebody's entire year.
Yeah.
Is gonna be referencing to your. That's what are you saying? How is that sellout? That's level up, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like you're gonna be that guy.
God, I already flipped the table. I can't flip it. But I would love to flip something.
Slap Rajesh.
Sorry, Rajesh. Sen Gupta, right?
Okay. So yeah, man.
Maybe I should look into his journey a little bit more.
Oh, you must see the documentary. And I think as a comic, what I think is amazing is he's doing all of these things. And the last 3 specials, how can you write 3 specials about how famous you are?
I know. That's what I was thinking.
And still have people watch and love it and consume it the way they do. Dude, come on, dude. That's not skill.
Yeah,
That's skill. That's craft. That takes so much effort, you know. Like, I don't think you can judge a comic by how they are on stage.
I don't think anymore, man.
Yeah, because
now that's, I think what you hit is right, that I really like doing so many. I also not an empire. Empire is too hostile a word. What I really want to create is a network of things that we do.
Yeah.
Of different people coming in, different people co-owning IP is one of the things I'm very pro about.
Absolutely.
Right now, we haven't reached that as an industry, because as a comedy as an industry, which it is. How do you know that comedy as an industry will not fail? Is because, for example, let's look at music earlier, before comedy took over. Music was very indie, okay? At that time, you knew that NH7 is the only place that you will get to perform. Not too many festivals out there. At that time, there were a few companies representing, and you know, gigs were tougher to sell. Each gig, you need a 3 lakh rider so that you can perform. Band gets 1 lakh, divides into 25,000. Tax removed, flight removed, they get 5,000 per gig or 7,000 per gig. Economy of scale was low.
Yeah.
Comedy came in and undercut your 3 lakhs to 50,000.
Exactly.
SM58 mic, lights is already there, audience, and it's done.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Comic will also make 45 grand instead
Exactly,
of.
and it's one person taking their money.
Yeah.
So suddenly it became economy of scale. Then bigger companies got interested, started taking management up, right? And now, here's where we are at. You have management companies, established comedians who keep getting live gigs on the basis of which your Instagram numbers go up, because of which brands get interested, you give you money to promote it, you put that out. So that means a management company, comedian, now also editors and filmmakers. Now, OTTs come into the picture. OTTs is like, hey, I want you to do a web series, I want to do this. Now the OTTs who are backed by Silicon Valley or SoftBank, and they are giving you X amount of lakhs to make a show. The industry at this point in time, the reason industry will not fail, comedians will fail. The format of comedy might fail. It might go from stand-up comedians to
sketches or music or Hasya Kavita also it can regress to. We don't know.
TikTok, for example, some of the TikTok celebrities could be where what they go to. Because right now the industry, we call it stand-up comedy industry. It is not. It is the digital entertainment industry.
Absolutely.
We guys are the first few to get that success. Now you see TikTok taking over.
Yeah.
Then you will see something else taking
Hello
over.
will take over after that.
Everybody. The thing is that the industry is set. How do you evolve?
Yeah.
If you don't evolve, then you will dissolve. Is what my what that rhymed.
Yeah.
That rhymed.
It must be true then.
It must be true because it rhymed. Fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was saying was, you.
Why do you think the Mahabharata is a poem?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. ये तो जीसस पैराबल पे पैराबल लिखे जा रहे हैं वो अगर पोएट्री लिख देते तो भी
But yeah, he was.
that industry is now made. You know,
Yeah.
OTTs will give money to production houses will get in touch with artists will be managed by management.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna make money.
Yeah.
The artists will keep changing. Because now I am seeing music make a resurgence. Because now that you got Spotify, you got Apple Music, you've got Ghana,
Absolutely.
Savan, you've got Audible, all of these guys coming back in, now music is making a resurgence,
Yeah.
right? So now musicians were getting managed, getting platforms, getting content money, you will see music also getting established.
Yeah.
So it is, now that money has come into the country, before it goes away very soon. Now that money's come into the country, art forms are getting a little bit more inflated, saying that,
Yeah.
okay, please do your dreams.
Yeah.
I am doing 2 shows on Audible. What auqat do I have to do 2 shows on Audible?
That's exactly the question I asked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Take compliment and I take
I'm
compliment
sorry.
back also.
I'm sorry. We
Take
all
it
know.
and then take it back also.
We all know that was not meant.
Well, truly. I want to flip this table down with water. Sad.
Hey, but I've heard them. They're not bad. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I like
I mean,
like it.
considering the fact that, because when I also heard the batch of comics doing it, I was kind of iffy about where it would go, because I was like, a lot of these people have enough interviewing and kind of experience. Some of these
Yeah.
people don't. But yours was one of the better ones. I mean,
Oh, thank
in
you.
this batch of Spotify and Audible ones, yours and Gaurav Kapoor's cricket one.
Yeah, Gaurav Kapoor is great.
Yeah, both of those-
Gaurav Kapoor is somebody who I would consider as like that entrepreneur who's like, he could be a stand-up comedian if he wants to.
Yeah.
Or he could do what he's doing. Because look at the shows he's got produced. Look at the company he's running.
Yeah.
Look at the way it's going. It's kind of like, hey, that's a good format to follow.
Creative entrepreneur.
Correct. And that's what I want to be. I want to be a creative entrepreneur where I want to create something more fun. But I know I love live audience and I love being on stage. So
Yeah.
it'll be around this zone.
Right.
So that's just where I identify.
Right.
So for every show of mine, there will be a live.
Do you
audience
feel like they
angle.
need to be married?
No,
Can't it just be like
separate?
I'll just do my live shit as a separate thing that I do,
Which is the most peaceful realization I've had last year. When I came back to doing stand-up, I realized the reason I stopped doing stand-up, one of the many reasons was, I wasn't writing anything that I liked. I was writing stuff to go viral. So I started writing material which I know will be clickbaity.
producer brain.
Yeah. And then I disliked it. And I was just like, I'm not a comedian anymore.
Yeah.
But then when I was asked to host these shows, like, open mics and all of that, I was like, okay, let's just host. I don't have to write material. I started realizing a lot of things that I started saying on stage I really like. And that became a bit. And to becoming a bit, coming to a realization that I had such a small vision. And I'm so good at I didn't do that with stand-up. With everything else I looked, like with Son of a Beach, I know it's a long property. I know with Journey of a Joke, it's a very niche property. It won't go viral. But if it changes one person's life, that's great.
Yeah.
Similarly with now stand-up, I've got that perspective. Saying that throughout the day, whatever I do, at night I'll do an open mic, and no matter whatever you're feeling at night,
Yeah.
you feel great. Even if the jokes don't work, you feel something at night when you go to sleep.
It's our thing.
It's our thing.
It's for us.
You can't
Like-
take it away from us. Because this is some place that is like, parents go to temple and do puja. This is our Peripona. What are you doing? What do you do? Let's
Yeah.
start the show,
Oh,
get
ho,
it
ho.
over, go back.
Yeah, it's-
Because tomorrow, I never started doing stand-up as a job. I did radio, and then and my entire plan was, I will do radio in the morning, I will do a variation of Son of a Beach. At
Yeah.
that time also I want to do a talk show. And at night I'll go to an open mic at 11 p.m, just talk to the audience and do some jokes and go back home. That will not make me money. Everything else will.
Yeah.
I think somewhere that childish dream that I have is still true, because till today when I go on stage, I'm just like, this is you and me, no recording.
For me, it was the other way around. It was like I'll learn how to make money with stand-up first, because I know that I'll take double the time that everyone else does, but I will make money doing it my way first.
Nice.
So that gave me like this confidence of now, even if nothing works out,
Yeah.
I can do the comedy the way I do it without any compromises and still sell enough to make a living.
Yeah.
And then now all of this comes into play.
But it's the opposite for me though, because for me, it's a stand-up is more like therapy. For example, talking about
But you were also older when you started. I was 18 when I started. I had the luxury of taking 5 years of law school to get better at stand-up and slowly make a career. No money pressure, no ghar pe paisa dena, no rent to pay in Bombay. I feel like that privilege really, it's a result of that privilege as well.
But look at yourself, man. Like, just look at what you're doing. Example, this podcast, right? Lasoon Live that you're running. You're managing artists. I think that you have your creative side, but your entrepreneurial side is also very evident. So when you say you're entrepreneurial, you're also entrepreneurial. We just have two different angles of it. If you look at Tanmay, he's very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
He's very smart with business. If you look at who else is doing anything business related?
Who's being businessy? Kartik Kumar that we went
Kartik Kumar,
KK
example,
we
like,
interviewed.
Exactly.
KK is
My point is, there are some of us who are slightly different, and that's what's important. You need this. You need different kinds of people. For now, when Tanmay does a vlog, and his vlogs are really picking up, he's doing it on a cell phone. It's so good to see that he's disrupting. He's doing live streams. It's so nice to see.
Yeah.
And that's what comedians are, right? We look at a format and we disrupt that format.
Yeah.
And that's a punchline. But when we become too sanitized because we want to belong to it, that's when we lose our sheen. So with you doing this, putting the bad edits and everything in it and making sure that they are loud and they are visible. If other people were doing this podcast, they'll make sure this lighting is fine.
Yeah.
They'll make sure that you guys, please keep quiet, what is happening here? That's what it is. You're trying to take the stand-up comedian aspect, which is whatever is the normal, let's do a different variation of that. That's what transcends
and I feel like
into businesses.
I can't lie. I feel like on some level, no, if I tell everyone to shut up and I cover this with a cloth, and then I prep up and I get a touch-up person to do your nose, I'm lying on some level.
Yeah.
Because this was never like, you know what I mean?
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why credit where it's due to all I think every person in school should be given the objective to do comedy, whether it's stand-up, whether it's improv, because it really opens up your brain creatively.
Yeah.
Whether you're a coder, that's still creating, you're giving solutions.
Yeah.
I think you should do it.
Yeah. Hey man, this has been a really nice chat. As always, I don't know how, but talking to you is always an enriching experience.
I forgot
man.
there were cameras except when I want to flip it also. Just like I need to.
That is the best compliment you can give though. The fact that you don't think there were cameras, that's lovely.
Yeah.
If you felt that comfortable, I'm glad.
I did.
Yes, thank you for coming, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Not at all, man. I'll see you as soon as these cameras cut.
As soon as the camera gets makeup.
I will see you. Are they cut?
Are they cut?
Okay.
They're cut.
I can see you again.